इसमें नहीं आ रहा. Hello, good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Pooja Chopra, founder Connecting Dots, and I'll be answering your questions live today. Thank you so much for being here on your Sunday evening. And please keep posting your questions in the chat box or comments, and I'll be answering them live. We already have a question. Milestones for 21-month-old and how to rule out ADHD in 21-month-old. Okay. So 21-month-old is a kid who's about to complete 2 years of age. And the milestones that we are looking at is basic walking and stuff. Good social interaction, the child should be able to respond well. When it comes to ADHD, for a kid who's 21-month old, we expect 2 to 7 minutes of attention span with them. That's it. For very small activities, the kids have a short span of attention. Kids that small, they like moving around. Movement is the key to learning. So we prefer that they do more play-based games, more movement-based games, as much as possible. So it's really hard to say the kid is ADHD as such until 3 years old. Uh, Hyperactivity, I would really not comment on. Attention span, response time, eye contact, social interaction with, around peers. So kids below 3 years of age, they don't play with each other, they just co-play, they play around each other, they look at each other and they try to imitate things. So I would look at imitation. I would definitely look at imitation, attention. Hyperactivity, I would not comment on hyperactivity. Some kids are just more active than other kids, I would say. So it's hard, but if you have certain specific symptoms that you see in a 21-month-old that makes you think that this could, be more inclined towards ADHD or ADD, so then specific symptoms might help. Okay, so now we'll go on to the next question. Preeti Agarwal has asked how to know that the reflexes are integrated. So, very good question, Preeti. We have certain tests that we do on a kid when we are testing their reflexes. When we are doing the activities with them, there are certain responses that we are seeing. Also, the behaviors, the implications of those reflexes in real life, you start seeing them very early, that okay, my kid is not startled anymore, they're not crying anymore, they're not cranky anymore. So kid who's a very hyper kid probably, or cranky kid, some kids who have more aggression can be triggered very easily. We know for sure that their morose is unintegrated. We work on their morose and you see a huge change in their arousal levels. Okay. Also, when we do the clinical testing for morose, when I do the clinical testing for TLR, ATNR, the signs that we are looking for, the signs that we looked for, they change immediately. So we know that yes, the reflexes are integrated or unintegrated. Okay. So we'll be going on to the next question. Aparna Paila has asked, hi ma'am, good evening. How to regulate a child even after many therapies like flapping and sounds, humming, tapping ears? Okay, so Aparna, this pretty much sounds like a kid whose nervous system is really overwhelmed. So if my nervous system is really overwhelmed, I'll be very fidgety. Situations where you're putting a demand on me, there are more people wanting more from me, more expectations from me, it really dysregulates me. Also, one very, very important factor, whenever a kid is showing such symptoms, there are two major things that I will look at for sure. Sure. First is how is their basal ganglia functioning? So, how much of yes and no your child can process? That's very, very important. That tells me a lot about how stronger the left hemisphere of the brain is and how much function the right side of the brain is doing. So when we talk about autism, ASD, ADHD, and autism type difficulties, it's a right brain disorder, it's a right brain deficiency. So our right brain is weaker than the left brain. So that's why our kids and your so let's just say that our left brain says a lot of yeses and our right brain says a lot of no's. Okay, so when your child is constantly trying to do something that you don't want them to do, it's their left brain functioning, and I tell the child not to do it, stop doing this, their right brain has to stop that loop. So there is a direct pathway that is in the left brain, and there is an indirect pathway that is in the right brain. So we know for sure that the right brain is weaker. The basal ganglia, the loops, your basal ganglia regulates you, everything. Okay, so the loops are not getting completed, so the no's are not happening, and the child's left brain is over functioning. If that is your major concern, calming activities, sound therapy, constantly working on core strengthening and cerebellar activities. If your child can cooperate for cerebellar activities, vestibular activities, it's going to be great. The reason I emphasize so much on core strength is because even for us to do vestibular activities, cerebellar activities, we need a lot of core strength, and it develops slowly. Also, you have to make sure that if your kid is on any medication, drug medication, that has its side effects too. So we're gonna have to keep that also in the loop. I hope that answers. Okay, next question. Again, to work on 21-month-old sits on side merry-go-round but not swing. Okay, so if the 21-month-old is sitting on a merry-go-round but not on the swing, I know for sure that this child is okay with rotational movements, but coming towards gravity and having that postural control is probably hard for them, because when you slide down, the gravity is bringing you down with a lot of speed and your body should not fall down. So either this kid has had a bad experience with slide early in the life and has developed a negative association, or this child is could also be a kid who has difficulty regulating. So again, probably not ATNR, STNR, but check their moros, check their auditory hypersensitivity. This is one kid who can be borderline gravitational insecure. So I would definitely check them on that. Also check this kid on staircase. If they have difficulty coming down, if you see their body turning while coming down, then we know for sure that the child is not looking down. The visual vestibular that should be giving them that balance and postural control is not happening, and we need to work on the reflexes as well as sensory systems, cerebellum, balance centers, control, visual. So vestibular, visual will be the things that I would look at. How to control excessive visual stimming. Okay, so I'll pick up visual stimming first, and then we go on to laughing. Again, any type of stimming. So first thing that I would probably look at if it is visual stimming is deficiency in vitamin A. Okay, it's usually the case. Second,